Hello everybody, my name is Walnut, back with another Legacy of the Void cast. This is a Diamond Platinum game. As you can see by our sick loading screen here, this may actually take a second because this is the first game I've loaded up today. But this replay was put up on r/castit, a fantastic place for feedback in terms of your casting, feedback in terms of your play actually too if you submit replays, and we're always looking for more replays over there, so be sure to go ahead and do that. So down here in the bottom left hand corner we have PerseVerAnce with some fantastic capitalization here. I love irregular capitalization in names. There is no better thing. And then up here in the top right hand position on Dusk Towers, I believe this map is called. I've only played on this about a billion times and I still don't know the name. It is Perucraft. Both players are going for pretty standard stuff here, so I'm not going to talk about it. Wow, look at me. I'm a professional gamer. So in terms of like PvT, what you generally see at the higher levels is Bio-Liberator style from Terran with a handful of drops mixed in, whereas on the Protoss front, generally what you're going to be seeing is like a standard gateway composition but with really fast Storm. Because the thing is, I would say the absolute best way to deal with Bio-Liberator right now is Storm, because Storm zone out the Bio for about 4 seconds at a time, and that's time where you can go in, snipe off a Liberator, and then blink out, which is super nice. But I don't know how that's going to be. Generally, the Platinum and Diamond players are at a high enough ranking where they've started doing the standard meta builds and all that sort of cool stuff, which is, you know, all sorts of awesome. So we're just gonna have more standard stuff. This is actually a double gas, 3 on each gas here for our Protoss player, so that indicates to me some sort of Stargate play. This is fairly standard. That or you could be going DTs, which is highly unlikely. But that's something Naniwa's been doing a lot lately, actually, on his stream, is he goes, especially in PvZ, but sometimes in PvT, he'll just throw down a Twilight Council and then a D2 Shrine, and then he's able to macro up with, like, Gateway Archon after that, and eventually tech up. Late game in this matchup, what you're going to be seeing the vast majority of the time is, like, Gateway Tempest, with, like, Storm and stuff like that, against the Bio-Lib style, and then sometimes you see Siege Tanks, sometimes you see Battle Cruisers, all that sort of fun stuff. It will be a Stargate proxied in the corner here. I actually really like this proxy location because it makes the Stargate in a nice position where the reinforce time from the Oracles to the main base is still relatively small. It's less than if it were up here. It is extremely unlikely to be scouted or scanned any time in the game at all until maybe there's like a base taken here or like maybe here. And the thing is, this is not going to get picked off. Generally, we'll see them proxied like right here or sometimes like up here. And the problem with this is that you have no means to defend that, right? Like you send some units over there, or excuse me, the Terran sends units over there and picks off the pylon, and then you just lost a Stargate for free. So I like this positioning because it's conservative. It allows him to save the Stargate and use it later. So this is a real smart play we see out of our Protoss player. There's not a whole lot that can really attack the Protoss this early into the game, considering there was no Reaper. So he sends his Stalker, both of his Stalkers, across the map. And what this can do is scout for this sort of all-in, this Liberator Siege Tank all-in that is super popular right now in the lower leagues because it is incredibly, stupidly difficult to hold off right now. And I myself have had quite a bit of trouble. This is actually a proxy gateway. He might all in off of this, which is going to be super awkward since there's a siege tank right here. He does not have an expo. Neither player does, so this is going to be relatively awkward. Stalkers there getting absolutely fucking destroyed by the siege tank. Siege tanks do so much damage against Stalkers. Luckily, though, because of this, this is going to delay the all-in, and that may be able to keep our Protoss player alive, because this is very difficult to hold off if you don't pick off something once the game starts. Warp Gate will finish up right about now. He should. Ooh, Liberator Siege is up. Siege Tank Siege up. And this is a lot of wasted money. This is 3 pylons in a gateway, and he is not going to be able to contest this. The range of the siege tanks, he can actually slip up here with the stalkers and snipe off a few marines, but he decides to make the safe play and back off. There are actually 2 oracles here that he's banking up, 3 oracles next. And this could be pretty devastating. If our Terran player decides to move across the map and go forward with this all in, he could find himself in a lot of trouble where he loses all of these SCVs for absolutely free. And he is moving across the map. Now, our Protoss player doesn't scout this, but he can kind of sniff it out considering he saw that many units that early on. Oracles will move on into the main base, and they start attacking stuff. Terran player's reaction time is good. He will start moving his SCVs, but the Oracles are a lot faster. They will be able to pick all these off. A couple of these SCVs here at half HP. Oracles moving in. Good micro here by the Protoss player. Able to pick off all of the SCVs, except for, I believe, 5 of them. Now, the all-in will be starting here. I don't know where the mothership core is, or if it was even made. No mothership core, 4 oracles and 4 stalkers, 5 stalkers, 6 stalkers here for our Protoss player. And this does not look like enough to win this game, to be honest. What he needs is he needs Phoenix against the Liberators, and maybe to lift the siege tank if he ever gets in range of that. The Liberator is actually positioned a little bit too far forward here, will be able to be picked off. The Cyclone sloppily hitting some probes there. Not a very good use of that. The Oracles have come back into the main base. They're looking to pick off a siege tank. Will be able to pick off the siege tank, and that opens up a lot of ground here for our Protoss player. Has to lift up the second siege tank. Good micro here on that. Will lose the medevac though, and the siege tank is next to be picked off. Very good job holding here by our Protoss player. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a whole lot left over, but neither does the Terran player. If we look, he lost 19 SCVs compared to the 8 SCVs. And there's also still 3 oracles on the map that can be continually used for harassment and stuff like that. We have second bases up for both players here, and another oracle on the way. These poor SCVs, man. These poor SCVs. We only have 6 workers here for our Terran player. Absolutely ridiculous. The thing is, though, mules are still pretty good. He does... cost-benefit analysis, I think he should probably get the orbital here, just so we can start banking energy, start getting a few more mules. I understand that getting SCVs is very important, but mules are also stupid good. I believe it takes 2 mules to fully make up for the lost mining time of not building SCVs during the orbital building time, so it's pretty efficient. So we have 3 more gateways on the way here for our Protoss player. No tech, though, past the Stargate, and I'm a little bit worried about this because you can't just sit on Stargate tech forever. Like, these oracles are good, but they're not going to win you the game unless, of course, there's, you know, absolutely nothing that can stop 4 oracles right now. Like, the Liberator will eventually deal with them, but if he splits his oracles well, there's not going to be a whole lot that can stop this. Oh my god, no, that's disgusting. Why? Oh my god, look at the damage. This is the stuff Terran nightmares are made out of. Picks off a few more SCVs, able to get the mule as well. Got all the Marines too, and I mean, like I said, the Liberator will eventually clean this up, but there's still an Oracle left alive, and there is 7 SCVs. 7. And the Protoss player has 33 worker supply, absolutely plenty. He's going for a Twilight Council now, as well as Void Rays, and that was an absolute waste of a Photon Overcharge. Never ever Photon Overcharge like that, guys. That was awful. This isn't like back when it was only 25 energy. You actually need to kind of ration your Mothership Core energy, especially against drops and stuff like that. So he's moving out with a handful of Stalkers now and a Void Ray, and that's going to be a pretty sick timing, if I do say so myself. The Void Ray is to pick off the Liberator, and while I personally prefer Phoenix against, like, I don't know, like 4 to 5 Phoenix against Liberators, because that's enough where they have to be kind of scared about it, but not enough where Liberators are able to do, like, ridiculous one-shotty damage to them. I actually prefer the Phoenix against this, just because you can kind of kite the Marines better, and even though they kill it slightly slower, it's just, I don't know, it feels a little better to me. Plus, they're better for mineral harass, I don't know. Phoenix are just all around really good. So we have a couple of Adepts up here too, and they're going to help to zone out the Marines. Liberator will siege up, and what he's doing here is he's drawing out the Marines, and actually, the Void Rays are being banked up right now. I completely lied to all of you, and I'm sorry. So he's sending the 3 Adepts, the perfect number of Adepts, to one-shot SCVs. And the SCVs are forced to attack here since there's not a whole lot left over anywhere else. Supply Depot will burn down too. That's really unfortunate because it's another 100 minerals he can't spend on supply-type units. Now, one thing I want to point out, because I like to have my my cast be a little bit educational as well, the Protoss player has not been spending super well this game, I think. He's not building very many SCVs, or, I mean, probes. He's not making a 3rd base. Like, by now, he should have a 3rd base, and he should really be seriously considering a 4th base, considering how well he's contained the Terran player. He's also, like, he's not making probes right now. He's not transferring probes, and he obviously doesn't have enough. Or maybe he should transfer these over here at the very least. And he really should be focusing on that sort of stuff. 3rd base is only just going down, and he could have such a big advantage right now. 4th base is a little bit questionable because sometimes that can kind of screw you over because you simply don't have enough units to defend all that. But right now the Terran player has nothing. So Banshee coming in now, this does not have Cloak, so this will be dealt with by a Warp-In or something of that manner. I think the Terran player honestly should invest in Cloak right now because there actually isn't a DT Shrine. Or, I mean, excuse me, there is a DT Shrine. It just finished right now. There's not a robotics facility, so there's not actually any form of reliable detection other than the Oracles, and the Oracles aren't really in a position to do that, to be honest. They're just kind of sitting over here. They have a good energy count, but I don't think that's going to be something that the Protoss player keeps in mind at this level, unfortunately. So we actually have a pretty shoddy defense here by our Terran player, just mustering whatever he can. He's kept up on his SCV production, so he's actually catching up to the Protoss player relatively well here. He's only at a 5... Oh my god, I'm terrible at math. That is a 4 worker deficit. And, I mean, all things considered, that's really, really good. He throws down his 3rd command center. He's going to get more mules up and running. This is actually an idle Oracle right here. He's probably worried about the Banshee. One thing that I've noticed about the Protoss player too is he does not warp in under optimal conditions. This warp prism, or excuse me, Oracle is going to get shooed away. He should have like a gateway here, or he should have placed a pylon here, and that makes it a lot easier to warp in on time, not lose as many probes. Now the Terran player will scout the DT Shrine here, is getting Cloak like I suggested, and he's going to pick off... Okay, he's just going straight for the DT Shrine, and I think this is a mistake. At the very least, go for probes. Because you're not going to get the DT Shrine. I can tell you that right now. You don't have to be, like, fucking parting to tell him that he's not going to get that. He has thrown down a cannon in this mineral line, so it will be slightly safer. But I'm not going to say it's the most safe thing in the world. This is actually really unfortunate. I noticed this a while ago, but didn't say anything. You need to keep on top of this stuff. Every once in a while, I'll just flick through my bases and make sure there's not over or under saturation. And I'll make sure there aren't any idle probes and stuff like that. There's a little button over here in the UI when you're in-game, and it shows you how many idle workers you have, and that would solve this problem immediately. Few more probes going down here. Protoss attacking at the front, able to pick off a couple of Marines, not focus firing with the Void Rays though. We'll be able to get this Banshee essentially for... Ooh! The Hot Cloak with 2 HP, what a god! And there is absolutely no robotics facility. This cannon, never going to finish in the history of mankind. This Banshee, 15 kills. And now I think the Protoss player is honestly just going to lose this game from here. He has nothing to deal with the detection. He lost his Oracle earlier. He is absolutely 100% scroodled, if you ask me. And I think, honestly, it's entirely his fault. He should have been building probes that whole time. The moment he saw Banshees, he should have considered Cloak, even though the first Banshee wasn't cloaked. He didn't have any form of detection, and that's the risk you run. And look at this. Our Terran player, he's crossing his T's, dotting his I's. He's already got plenty of detection over there to help deal with this. And our Protoss player not even making an Oracle for the Revelation, just waiting for the robotics facility to finish. And I don't know, man. This Protoss player, he's really disappointing me. He's even got, oh my god, this is sexy, guys. This is so good. Look at it. Look at the missile turret at the front. You see these DTs? You see these DTs over here? These are the saddest DTs in the entirety of mankind. Yo, these DTs haven't done anything at all. You know why? Because of this sexy missile turret here. Alright, when it rotates around, you'll see a little dude in there. This dude, literal god. This man is a baller, defending against all sorts of sad harass. Because the thing that happens is, even if they can't get anything done in the mineral line, they'll snipe off add-ons, and that's super annoying. And even if you get enough DTs, sometimes they can go ahead and even snipe off the production structures, which gets really obnoxious. They can snipe off these extra, like, what are they called? Supply drops, supply depots, all that sort of cool stuff. And if we look at it, the Terran player is double in worker supply and has almost even army supply. This guy is a literal god. Look at this man. Look at him in there. What a sassy gentleman. He's living the life, honestly. 2 more Banshees scooting on over, looking to pick off a couple of these pylons. One thing I will say about the Protoss player is that he did not Artos this pylon at all. It was very difficult for the Terran player to unpower any of these buildings, which is super sick. So we see the Banshees moving in here. This is absolutely perfectly defended, though, by our Protoss player. He has a... Actually, where is the Observer? I don't know at all. Oh. One of them's idle. Did he get Observer speed? Because that looks pretty quick. I don't... okay, no he didn't. No he didn't. Nah. Alright, anyway. What a god. So we have our 60 drone, pretty much, or 60 SCV optimal here for our Terran player, and only 26 probes for our Protoss player. Our spending skill isn't perfect for our Terran player. With this amount of minerals, he could have probably 140, 150 supply here, and then just kind of walk at the Protoss army and win. But, I mean, all things considered, he's recovered extremely well from a very stressful situation. Now, I want to check vision here, too. This is really important. He does actually... Okay, so the DTs will slip in, but, oh my god, there's a Widow Mine. Terran, please. Literal god. Tasteless. He will be able to get a handful of SCVs here, but honestly, at the end of the day, this is a fleeting victory because it's still 54 SCVs to 35. Like, it's going to be a little while before our Protoss player is able to keep up in the economy. And frankly, this is really frustrating for me to watch because, look at this. No probes in the production tab. 1, 2, and almost 3 idle chrono boosts that could be used on probes right now, and he's just not doing it. There are a few High Templar, but I'm pretty sure that Storm is not done yet. No, Storm isn't done. It's not even in production right now. So honestly, these would be 100 million times better off as Archons, but I doubt he's even going to do that, to be honest. Liberators will set up at the tippy top of these ramps, slightly covering each other, and this just looks like a lose situation for the Protoss, to be honest. He doesn't have Storm to zone out the bio. Huge stim up by our Terran player here. Will attack the pylons, snipe that immediately. Terran player getting aggressive here. Protoss player move commanding up a ramp. Storm only just now starts, and to be honest, it's 90, 100 army supply against 36. There's not a whole lot here that the Protoss player can do. He's only on 29 probes. Half of them are like just kind of chilling here with these cannons, and I mean there's nothing here for our Protoss player. I mean that's it, guys. He's got 2 Void Rays. You know what's really good against Void Rays, guys? You know what's really good against Void Rays? Marines. You know what Void Rays are absolutely awful against? Marines. Look at this whole army. It's Marine. Oh my god, the whiffed force field. That's really sad, guys. I've never felt worse for a Protoss player in my life. I've done that so many times. You just sort of like, well, you just sort of whiff it really bad, and then like everything just sort of walks up. I've done that against Zerglings. It's awful. Anyway, nice game here by our Terran player. Very back and forth. Bringing it back after what, the 4 Oracle harass, bringing him down to 5 SCVs. Absolutely insane game. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Walnut, and I will see you guys next time.